Hey everybody, in the stand right now I've got the Poseidon Ambition X gravel bike, and over here I've got a pile of parts that are eventually going to make their way onto this bike. Yes, that's right, it's going to be an upgrade series, and over the next couple of videos we're going to take this already decent budget gravel bike to the next level. Now, one of the reasons I'm doing this video first is because I happen to get my hands on the brand new Microshift Sword group set, which promises to be a simple, mechanical, and affordable gravel group set for the masses. Specifically, we're going to figure out if the new Microshift Sword brifters are backwards compatible with the Advent X derailleur. So the biggest change coming out of the new Microshift Sword is definitely the brifter design, which clearly takes a lot of cues from Shimano's GRX gravel line. The hood shape is totally updated, it's a little bit more compact, and notably the pivot point for the brake lever has been moved further up, which should give us better leverage from the hoods. So here's comparing the new Sword brifter to the outgoing Advent X brifter, and it's probably hard to capture all the nuances on video, but the new Sword brifter just has a much better feel in the hand, and it's a lot more ergonomic as well. Probably the biggest aesthetic difference is that the new Sword brifters run the shifter cable internally, which means that you're not going to have this exposed shifter cable anymore coming out of the side of the brifter. But the biggest thing that I'm curious about is if you can actually just update an existing Advent X system and just get the new Sword brifters and completely change the feel of your bike. I'll just kind of tack them in place for now. And I am kind of nitpicky about this. I like to get my controls in place before I tape up the bars, just so that I don't have to mess around with them after the fact. And one thing that I do have to note is that the location of the pinch bolt for the band is in a really awkward position. It's kind of right on top, and if it were a little bit more off to the side, it'd be easier to get something under the side of the hood. It's really hard to get a tool in there to torque this thing down properly. I'm going to try and get a torque wrench in there with an extension. Okay. Show you the same thing on the other side. You can see the head of the pinch bolt right there. And it's not quite as easily accessible from the front of the shifter as it is on other brifters. You definitely need those long Allen wrenches without the ball end head. That's really what you need to install these brifters. Ugh, that's a pain. Hey, if you're watching this Park Tool, you could use some of those long T-handle Allen wrenches right about now. Okay, there we go. Alright, so not too bad, but not the easiest thing in the world. Okay, so check out the routing on this. The shift cable actually comes in from sort of the side of the brifter, and it comes up through here. So that puts the derailleur housing right here, and then the brake housing, as usual, just come right down into this end. So it's actually pretty neat and tidy. It just kind of sits like that. And so like I was saying, the cable comes in from the side of the brifter right here. It'll pop out the top here. There we go. Wow, that is clean. Cool. Yeah. Alright, it's got a fresh shift cable. I've never been a fan of this crazy bend that comes out of the housing on the Advent X derailleur, but it seems to work, and all we're doing right now is testing compatibility. Curious to see if the Sword derailleur has addressed this kind of pretty massive oversight, I'd say. Now, one thing to note is, first of all, there is no barrel adjuster on the Advent X derailleur, but there was a barrel adjuster on the old style shifter. So you will need some kind of barrel adjuster, otherwise you don't have any fine adjustment over the cable tension. So what you need is one of these. It's called an inline barrel adjuster. It's basically just a coupler that allows you to change the distance between the end stops. I'll sort of demonstrate here. So if you have housing on one side, and you can see that the length between the cable stops is getting longer. That's what gives you that fine adjustment like a barrel adjuster. And I'm just going to splice it in down by the derailleur itself, since that's where it actually is on the actual Sword derailleur. And then just cut a really short piece of housing to accept the ferrule, which will fit right into the derailleur. So that's kind of what it looks like when it's finished. Okay, so now we have our adjustment via inline barrel adjuster. And now it's the moment of truth. New Microshift Sword on the old Advent X derailleur. Here we go. Beautiful, so smooth. Wow, it's almost like they were designed to be compatible with each other. Who would have thought? Beautiful. Oh my gosh, it's so good. All right, well, there you have it. Confirmation that the brand new Microshift sword, brifters, shift the old Advent X 10-speed derailleur. Now that's great news for those of you who don't necessarily want the entire group set, but just want to update the brifters on your existing Advent X setup so you get that nice modern feel. Now this video is just part of a full upgrade video that we're going to be doing on the Poseidon Ambition X, so definitely stay tuned for that. I'll also eventually have a full review on the entire Microshift sword group set, and we'll probably end up doing a full-on review on the Ambition X as well. All right, well that's going to do it for this one. Thanks again for watching, and thanks for subscribing to the channel if you haven't already, and I'll see you next time.